At the time of his disappearance, Brandon was a 26-year-old father of 4, 3 children with his common-law wife Ledessa, and 1 child from a previous relationship. Brandon was a hard worker that spent most of his days working at the local oil field in order to support his family. Brandon was 5 feet 9 inches tall, 230 pounds. He had multiple tattoos, brown hair, blue eyes, 1 pierced ear, and visible scars on his chin and left knee. The clothes he was wearing on the night in question are as follows: a yellow t-shirt, camo shorts, and 2013 white Air Max shoes. Brandon's family has put together a website for tips or information on his whereabouts. If you have any information regarding this case, please contact the family via this website, missingbrandonlawson.com. Welcome to Find Me in the Dark, a brand new true crime podcast. This is the case of the vanishing of Brandon Lawson. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Find Me in the Dark. I am your host Eric Phillips, along with my co-host Robert Prestige.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Alright, so let's go over some of the names of the people we will be discussing in this episode. Brandon's wife of 10 years, Ledessa, his father, Brad, his brother, Kyle, and Kyle's girlfriend, Audrey. By all accounts, Brandon and Ledessa had a phenomenal relationship. Some have described them as the perfect couple, almost inseparable. Brandon and Ledessa frequently got into arguments. It was not out of the norm for Brandon to get in his car and drive around for a while until he cooled off. So their arguments were usually rather tame and would dwindle rather quickly, but on August 8th, something was different. We can only speculate what the fight was about. Some say it was in regards to one of their children having an ear infection. Others say it was about Brandon's lifestyle. Brandon had a history of drug abuse, and Ledessa was concerned for his health. We don't know exactly what happened in that house, but the end result is Brandon vanishing into thin air.
So what I think makes this case intriguing is the 911 phone call. There has been much speculation and theories on what was said. The audio is of very low quality, so it's hard to make out what Brandon says. But what we do know is there was a man who was obviously in an unsettling situation and was in need of help. We will break down the audio track and give our insight on what was said later in this episode.
So the first thing we're going to go over is the timeline of events from that night. 11:54 p.m., Brandon leaves the house and begins the drive down Highway 277 towards his father's house.
And right there, I think that decision shows that maybe he was in a different state of mind. His brother Kyle literally lives 5 minutes from Ledessa and Brandon, but Brandon decided to travel 4 hours to his dad's house.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think it could point to the fight being more aggressive than we thought. Brandon didn't do his usual trip around the block. He left his wife and children and planned to drive to Fort Worth in the middle of the night. So basically he was just leaving town in a sense. It's now 12:05 a.m. Ledessa calls Kyle within 10 minutes of Brandon leaving, which again goes to show that this was not a normal occurrence. Something wasn't right, and Ledessa could feel it.
We don't know exactly what Kyle and Ledessa talked about, but whatever it was enough for Kyle to drive over to her house and check on her.
Yeah, so Kyle only stayed for a few minutes and he was able to calm Ledessa down, so he just went back home. So now we're at 12:30 a.m. and Brandon only got 40 miles before his truck ran out of gas on the side of Highway 277. And then we got 12:34, 12:36, and 12:48 a.m. Brandon placed 3 phone calls to Ledessa, but due to his poor cell service, none of them got through. So in between the calls to Ledessa, Brandon called Kyle to ask him to bring him a gas can, pick him up, and bring him to the service station, which he only broke down about a quarter mile away from.
And after the phone call from Brandon, Kyle called Ledessa to ask her to borrow a gas can to bring to Brandon. Ledessa said it was fine and that they could pick it up. Ledessa went out to her car to charge her phone, since Brandon had taken the only wall charger. She then put the gas can on the porch, took a shower, and then went to sleep.
So Kyle and his girlfriend Audrey drive to Ledessa's house, grab the gas can, and head down Highway 277 towards Brandon. They got to the truck by 1:18 a.m., and to their surprise, there was already an officer on site.
Yeah, the officer was actually there responding to a non-emergency call from a semi-truck driver that had called to report an abandoned truck that was sticking out into the driving lane. It's important that we point out that Brandon had an open warrant in 2005 for felony possession of a controlled substance. Audrey knew about this warrant, so she sent him a text at 1:18 to warn him that the police officer was by his truck.
Yeah, at this time, neither the officer, Kyle, or Audrey were aware of the frantic 911 call that Brandon had made about 15 minutes before anyone had arrived. The officer searched through the vehicle to see if there was anything that would identify the owner, but Brandon's wallet and cell phone were nowhere to be found. So the officer scheduled for the truck to be towed the next morning, turned the hazards on, and locked the doors and left.
Now, this is where shit really hits the fan. Right after the cop leaves at about 1:25 a.m., Kyle got a phone call from Brandon. Now, we already talked about how shitty the cell phone service was, but somehow he was able to get this call through. The call only lasted about 10 seconds, and all Kyle was able to hear is, "I'm 10 minutes up the road, and I'm bleeding."
So this is the last anyone heard from Brandon. His last words were, "I'm bleeding." That's insane. Anyways, Kyle and Audrey hang around the truck for a while, but Brandon never showed up. They could sense that something was wrong, so they jumped into their car and drove up the road yelling for Brandon, but he never answered.
Both Kyle and Audrey continue to call Brandon, but it keeps on ringing until around 3 a.m. Kyle places one more call and it goes straight to voicemail. Either Brandon's phone had died or somebody shut it off. Realizing he wasn't going to get a hold of Brandon, Kyle calls Odessa to explain the situation. I can't imagine how that felt, going from thinking your husband simply ran out of gas to his brother calling you 3 hours later to tell you he vanished, gone, with no explanation.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this 911 call. We're going to play the normal version, then we're going to play the slowed down version, then we're going to try and clean it up, see if maybe we can make it less muddy and you can actually hear what's being said. So, yeah, what do you think, Rob?
Yeah, this call really, it every time we listen to it, I mean, we probably listened to it, maybe 1,000 times?
Maybe more.
Yeah, and every time, I mean, we kind of get something different, hear different noises in the background, things we think maybe was something else, so, I don't know, we'll let you guys hear it.
Yeah, so put your headphones in so you're not listening to it through your shitty laptop or your shitty phone. Yeah, here it is.
9, 2013, 0:50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards gasoline on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got shaken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
When I talking to him, I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
What the
Holy
fuck?
shit.
All right, so yeah, that's the 911 call. The first thing that I get from it is that that operator has no fucking clue what she's doing. And I know they said that they didn't actually have 911 operators there to take the calls. I don't remember what they said they had.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the nurses at the nursing home were actually taking the 911 calls.
What kind of fucking bodunk town has your fucking local nursing home taking that? That's so insane. She doesn't even ask his name. Like at the beginning, if you notice it, she doesn't even ask his name.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna play it again at normal speed, and then right after that, we're gonna play the slowed down version. So get out your pens, your papers, your laptops, whatever you want to get out, and tell us. Write down what you think you hear, and then send it to us.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to write down what I think is being said one more time.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too. So anyways, here's the normal clip, and then we're going to go into the slowed down clip. So be ready for this shit.
9, 2013, 0, 50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The sect, we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got shaken through the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
We're not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Nine, 2013, 0, 50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The sect, we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here that got shaken through the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
We're not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello?
All right, so now that we heard that, I'm going to read off what I think was said in that 911 call. So what I think was said, we'll start at the top. The 911 operator says, 911 emergency. And then Brandon says, yes, I'm in the middle of a field. A staper or stator, or I don't know, that's inaudible. He says, a staper just pushed two guys over. We are out here going towards Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There is one car here, and he got chased into the woods. Please hurry. So then the 911 operator says, okay, now run that by me. She gets cut off because Brandon starts talking again. So Brandon says, we're not talking to him. I totally ran into him. The 911 operator says, you ran into him. Okay. And then Brandon says, just the first guy, or at least that's what it sounds like to me. I'm sure it sounds like something else to everybody. But the 911 operator then says, do you need an ambulance? And it sounds like Brandon starts to say yes. But then he says, like, yeah, no, I need the cops. And then obviously the 911 operator says, is anybody hurt? And he doesn't respond. She keeps saying hello, 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 and then the call cuts out. So that is what I heard. What do you think, Rob?
So I agree with you for pretty much all of it, except for I can't tell if it's they got the first guy or they shot the first guy or just the first guy.
Yeah, before we start jumping all over the whole track, let's just start from the beginning, break it down, and we'll just go over what we think Brandon said in the call. So let's just do that now. Yeah, so let's just break this down section by section. So when Brandon says, yes, I'm in the middle of a field, a staper just pushed two guys over. What's a staper?
State Patrol, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say stater or statey?
Maybe he's got a deep accent.
I mean, staper? I tried Googling that shit, bro. I don't know what the hell staper is, man. I looked it up. I was like, Staper, Texas, Staper. All came up with staples, staplers. Just stupid.
My best guess is a state trooper, though.
All right, well, let's listen to it again. Hold on.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The sect we're just pushing guys over. Sect we're just pushing guys over. Sect we're just pushing guys over.
Yeah, man, I don't see any other explanation besides Staper, but let's just move on because we're never going to find out what a Staper is. So the next part is we are out here going towards Abilene, which is a city in Texas. But he says we're going towards Abilene on both sides, right? Is that what it sounds like to you?
Yeah, exactly what it sounds like to me.
And then he says my truck ran out of gas. And this is where it gets really weird because it sounds to me like there's one car here and he got chased into the woods. Please hurry. Right?
Yeah, I said, what I have written down is there's one car here. They chased them through the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, well, let's go to that section then. We'll play that one real quick.
Right here going towards Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here that got chased through the woods.
Yeah, so it sounds like there was one car here and he got chased into the woods. Honestly, this leads me to believe that he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see, like some crazy stuff. If he says that there was a statey or a staper or whatever it was there, and then in the same paragraph, in the same breath says, there's one car here and he got chased into the woods. Please hurry. It sounds like the cop chased somebody into the woods, in my opinion. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That's just, it's crazy, man. You can definitely tell there's panic in his voice. There's something going on that either he shouldn't have seen it, or, you know, I don't know. It's weird. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you know it's got to be serious if somebody that has a warrant open for their arrest is calling the police and reporting something.
100%.
So then the next part that is in question is we're not talking to them. I totally ran into them. So I don't know. I don't even know what that would mean. That like the other people that are there, or the cop, or the other people that he like maybe I don't think he's saying that he like ran into him with his car. I think he's saying that like he stumbled upon them or something like that. Like, yeah, we just ran into him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have down, there's no talking to him. I totally ran into them. And is it one guy? Is it two guys? Has the cop already taken out one of the guys? And I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Why don't we just listen to that part again real quick?
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do that.
Run that, I mean, and when I talked to him, I surely ran into him. Run that, I mean, and when I talked to him, I surely ran into him.
So what did you say that you heard in that?
I said, there's no talking to him. I totally ran into them.
Yeah, see, I clearly hear, in my opinion, I hear we're not talking to him. I totally ran into him. But before he says I totally ran into him, he's like, he takes a deep breath and he sounds like he's like in a state of panic, like, I totally ran into him. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like this is like he saw something crazy.
Yeah, I totally ran into them. I mean, she thinks that they said that too. I totally ran into them.
Yeah, but you got to say it redneckish. You got to be like, oh, I totally ran into him. Like you got a mouthful of molasses, because that's how he sounds, man. Like, I clearly, I don't think there's any question about the I totally ran into them, right?
There's no talking to them.
Yeah, but that's not what we hear in that clip.
Well, I mean, I guess that's why there's so much discussion on this, because everybody hears something kind of different, you know?
Yeah, I guess, man. And then, yeah, she says, you ran into them, right? Because she repeats it. She repeats what she thinks that she heard, even though it's clearly almost impossible to hear what that guy's saying because he's fucking tooted up on meth and just I totally ran into him, you know, like just making no sense.
Yeah, there's definitely a thick accent there.
Yeah, and then when she says, you ran into him, okay, and then what I hear is just the first guy.
And I've gotten just the first guy, listened to it over and over again. They got the first guy or they shot the first guy.
Yeah, I think it's in my head, it's either just the first guy or got the first guy, right? I don't really hear shot. A lot of people hear shot. I don't hear that.
Yeah, so, I mean, just the first guy or they got the first guy. I mean, either way, it's still what's going on.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Let's listen to that part again then.
You ran into him. Okay. That's the first you ran into him. Okay. That's the first
Yeah, so he definitely says just the first guy. I don't hear shot the first guy. I don't hear, got the first guy. I hear just the first guy.
Yeah, after slowing that way down, I mean, I agree with you there. Just the first guy is definitely what I hear now.
Yeah, so that also, that implies that there was other people involved in this, right?
Exactly. I mean, like we don't really know how many. I mean, there had to have been we're guessing a sheriff involved.
Yeah.
And then how many other people? One or two. If he got one of the guys, then there has to be another person involved.
Well, there's Brandon, and then him saying just the first guy implies that there was at least two other people there, not including the sheriff. I don't know what happened. I really don't, because when he says Stater, that throws me off, because then I start thinking that, I don't know, a cop responded to something or saw something, and then when he says chase the guy into the woods, it makes me think that the cop chased him into the woods, and then he's calling.
Right, that's exactly what I get too.
To report that.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing is that Highway 277 is kind of out of the way, and it's a lot of desolate area. So it's like maybe he took that road because he knew he was going to do
some meth.
Yeah, he wanted to ice baby.
Yeah, that's
right. I mean? He wanted to fucking zoot it, toot it, and shoot it. But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But even Kyle, in his 2019 interview, said that he knew for a fact that Brandon was on meth that night. He said 100%.
Yeah, he definitely said 100%.
So who knows what happened? Drug deal, gone wrong. Cops show up, chase somebody in the way. He witnessed something extreme, whatever it was.
I mean, there's no questioning that his demeanor was he was panicked. Like there was something out of the norm going on. Was it in his head, or was it actually something that actually happened? I mean, I think something actually happened to him.
Yeah, and I know there's a theory of like something like him falling into a river. It's like, okay, that was 7 years ago. You tell me they didn't drag the river and find his body yet? Like, what do you think happened? Like all these Texas fish ate that motherfucker? Like that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
I mean, they're in the backwoods somewhere, man.
And then the cops are trying to say that he ran off because he had a warrant. Hey, buddy, he called you.
Yeah, he said, I need the cops.
Yeah, that could not be. That's the one thing that's like super clear in that.
Yeah.
He's like,
the one thing we can actually
He's
make
like, no,
out.
I need the cops, Yeah. So to say that he ran away to avoid a warrant from 2005,
Yep,
on some drug shit, that's not a big deal. And you're telling me that he left his kids and his wife.
Yeah, and they said that he was already working on getting that fixed. Had gotten a lawyer and everything.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot of theories. Yeah, man. I really have no clue what happened to him, but I do know that he hasn't been seen since then, and there's no evidence, no cell phone, no wallet, no shoes, no nothing. No DNA, no blood.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious on what you guys think was said. So, yeah, shoot us an email. Let us know on our Facebook.
Yeah, let us know what the email is, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's findmeinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. So go ahead and shoot that over there, and we'll read the whatever you guys come up with on the next episode. Yeah, another theory is that nothing really happened to him, that he, was upset and stressed out about, his new job and the argument with Ledessa, so he started driving, and then he did run out of gas. Obviously, he ran out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about that.
But that he had done a significant amount of methamphetamine, and basically that he made up everything in his head, like he was seeing stuff, and he called the cops, and he just needed help, but he called the cops and started saying all this insane stuff about, a staper and multiple people getting chased into the woods, and then they said, people think that after that he just, because the cops showed up, that he walked into the woods, got injured, walked a little bit further, succumbed to his injuries, like, I don't know, maybe like broke his leg or something like that, and then fell down, and that he just died, which, it's a possibility, but you would think that you would find something in the woods at some point.
I mean, something.
Yeah.
Bones.
Bones,
something.
clothes.
Yeah, some kind of clothing.
How about a cell phone, a wallet, keys? Well, the keys were with the truck, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy to me to think. I mean, it's just, that's why, like I said, over and over again, there's so many things that could have happened, and we're trying to put it together as best as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, and his brother said that there was a few guys that wanted to run him out of town too.
So in the interview with Kyle, he kind of talks about that, but he says he can't prove anything. He said he talked to Ledessa, and Ledessa obviously said that none of that was ever happening.
Yeah, but it definitely was something drug related.
I mean, I definitely agree with that, especially since Kyle said that he was 100% on meth.
Yeah, I think everything that happened that night was fueled by drugs, but that doesn't mean that he didn't actually see anything. I think he saw something. I think it's a cover up by somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been the cops. It could be
I think it's
one
the
of
cops.
the people.
I think
somebody
it's the
that
cops.
lives there, though.
I think it's the cops, because there's also a theory they never told Ledessa that they had the 911 call. They never told her about the 911 call.
Yeah, she found out after she got the monthly statement from her cell phone.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then she asked for it, a recording of it, and what did they take, like 3 months to give it to her?
Yeah, it's something like that. It was
It's
definitely
months.
Yeah.
I know it's a significant amount of time. And then she gets it, and they think that they edited the call.
And some say that's why this is a little blurry too, and distorted in the call, because we think that maybe she recorded that from her cell phone. Some people had actually said that too.
Yeah, they said that there's another theory that they didn't actually even send her the recording, that they played it for her and she was recording it on her phone.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I don't know, man. That's crazy that if they did send the family the 911 call, that it took them months, and then it sounds all super choppy and like super, I don't know, man. It just, there's something weird about it. There's something weird about the fact that it took that long. There's something weird about the fact that the 911 operator doesn't even ask his name. There's something weird that there was a cop at his truck when they got there, and then they responded to the trucker's call, but they didn't respond to the frantic 911 call where this guy's talking about people being chased into the goddamn woods and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's nuts to me, man. It's definitely hard to put together.
I don't understand it, man. I don't know where he is. I don't know. His family is still hopeful that they'll find him. I don't think that's going to happen. But
no, I think they just want peace. I mean, I think they just really want to know what happened. At least give them something, some kind of hint.
Yeah. Well, let's go over the searches that they did,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, let's do it now. Yeah, so the family starts searching immediately. Ledessa wakes up the next morning, and then she files the report that he's a missing person, and Kyle and his whole family just the next day starts searching immediately. Then a week later, the Coke County Sheriff conducts a search, but they don't really find anything on the search. So the sheriff refuses to continue searching without new evidence. But then these property owners come out and they grant access to their land. They tell the cops, like, hey, this is land that you have not covered, but we're going to go ahead and give you access to that land, but they still don't search it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, they had some drone footage. They flew a drone over, but they said the drone will only pick up heat.
Right.
So if it's a dead body, it's not going to pick up.
No. And then so the family continues to conduct searches, obviously, and these cops just are shutting them down. They're saying, hey, Brandon had this warrant from 2005. He doesn't want to get caught, blah, 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 so he fled. They totally disregard the fact that he called the police asking for help. And the funny thing is, the only local newspaper, that was given access to the case evidence and information was the reporter that was given the information on the case file was Sheriff McCudgeon's wife.
Yeah. And the headline was "Law Enforcement Concludes Man Not in Coke County." That's it. That's the headline.
That's it. It completely doesn't talk about the 911 call. It doesn't talk about him calling specifically, asking for help, asking for police, saying that somebody got chased into the woods. And the article clearly is pointing towards him running
because he had a warrant. Because
of this warrant. And they specifically don't mention the 911 call because that would be that would disprove their entire argument. Their entire argument is based on him leaving. Let's sweep this under the fucking rug and let's not, actually go look for this guy. Let's just say that he's gone for good, and then we can brush this under the rug and, everything's fine. But
yeah, nobody's going to think about it because he's already been in trouble with the law so many times. He's a known drug addict. I mean, okay. Yeah. So what? See you later.
Yeah. So what? So yeah, 7 years. It's been 7 years since he went missing. His family hasn't really, they did this, they keep doing searches, they hold events, but they have no idea, they have no idea what happened to him, and the police they just don't give a shit. They don't care.
And that was proven from day one that they really didn't give a shit.
Obviously, man. They never even answered. They never sent an officer out to specifically for that 911 call.
You mean to tell me months later you're finally going to tell them that they call your husband called 911 in a frantic?
That's no. Yeah. How do you not even respond to that? And then your wife is the only one with access to the case files, and then she writes this shitty article that says that they don't even mention it. They say it's just a stranded motorist on the side of the road. Big, Yeah. That's it.
There's something fishy there for sure.
Yeah, dude. Like, why are you purposely leaving all this important information out? There's only one reason to do that, and it's because you're covering it up for the police, and you're some fucking, it's, I don't know, man. There's clearly a motive to cover this up because they don't. That's what, man. That's what really fuels my theory that he saw a cop do something.
Yes, I agree with you.
Like, there's just so much evidence after the fact pointing towards a huge cover-up in Coke County. It's just insane, man. So yeah, the family, I don't even know what to say about the family. It sucks. They've been doing interviews and stuff for the last 7 years, going over the same shit, going over the same details. Like, yeah, he's gone and the cops aren't helping us. The cops are absolutely useless and there's nothing they can do at this point. So yeah, guys, that is the disappearance of Brandon Lawson. Sorry, we can't give you a better ending, but we know as much as the family does. But if they do update the case, if we get any new information, we will definitely let you guys know. We'll probably do just some like small 10-minute updates on that case. So yeah, thanks for listening, Rob. Good job, man.
Yeah, same to you, Eric, man.
So yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. We love you. See you later.
Peace.
Hi. You're still here? I appreciate that. Us here at Find Me in the Dark would like to dedicate this entire episode to our brothers at Nerf Herder Studios, bringing like-minded individuals together to open up the mind and imagination. Nerf Herder Studios is here to deliver a new age of independent filmmaking. Their debut short film, Solemn, is now streaming on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Go like and share their page.